talk about paternal anxiety. Now, for those who are not sure what that actually means, it's just what you might expect actually. It's to make sure that that child that you are raising, providing for, that you are protecting, contains your DNA. Anyway, this is a dilemma that men face, and if you take that back into prehistoric times, long before the Neolithic, or say, let's just say, long before we started to build in stone, there was an instinct to make sure that that child, for every man, to make sure that that child was his. The way that we did that was by displaying aggression and intimidation and threats to other males. That's why males are said to be more aggressive, quicker to a fight, because they have to give off that era, the aura, not just to ensure that the child is theirs, but to ensure that they will protect their child with violence if need be. So if you imagine a day before civilization as we know it now, that was the only way to protect your children, to give other people a message that if you come near my children, I will damage you. Perfectly capable and perfectly willing. So for that reason, men had to take risks. They had to show that they were willing to risk a fight to protect their children and to protect the mother of their children. So this violence and aggression, etc., it is a basic instinct of men. Now, maternity anxiety or maternal anxiety, this is something that women do suffer from. They're always frightened that the man will leave them and go with someone else, and this is where the conflict arises between men and women. You see, if someone has a child, or say several children, to one partner, in order to give their DNA a better chance of surviving, would be to go with multiple partners, in which case you may be stretching out the odds of finding or mating with the right partner who will produce a hybrid child with all the best characteristics of both. That's the instinct, and I dare say when we were all milling about like monkeys, we probably did that. But as we grew into a more civilised way of living and we started to form communities, we realised that if we have to live together, we needed to cooperate together. That was essential, because on our own we have no defence, only our brain. That's the only defence we have, is to think our way out of a problem and figure a way out of a problem, or figure a way to get food without dying in the process. So this was an instinct, a very strong, powerful instinct, to make sure that we were providing the best support and the best education that we could possibly provide for our children. Now, keep in mind, because of the size of our brain, because we relied on it so much for survival, we had to spend a long time learning. And some of these anthropologists and people like that, they estimate that a young person is round about the age of 16 before they can provide for themselves and build shelter, etc. And that's round about the ideal time when somebody would, or people would be looking for a mate to settle down, to bring up a child, knowing that they're going to have to spend at least 16 years looking after that child. So 16 years of your life looking after one child, or each child, that's a massive chunk of your life. And it's something that people should realise. It is so essential to know that that child is yours. And it's so essential to know who the father of your child actually is. This is a big secret that everybody, the happy marriages and the long-lasting stable relationships, this is like the big secret that they have between each other. And that is, they must know that they can rely on the fact that they are the genuine biological father. And that the woman must be absolutely sure that this man that she had a child to will be with her for the rest of her life. So for that reason, you have to forget, both sides have to forget everything about everybody else. Everyone else has nothing to do with you. Everybody else that you see, meet, belongs to someone else. Think of it that way. Maybe they haven't met them yet, but in time or whatever, in other circumstances, eventually they will belong to someone else. And it's that feeling of belonging that gives you a strength, and it gives you a drive and a motivation to be the best that you possibly can be. Just to keep on this same theme, because I know I get distracted, but to keep on the same theme of building a strong and stable relationship, it is essential that both sides are absolutely honest with each other in every way. I only had 3 girlfriends when I was growing up, and I married one of them. As it happens, I do believe I married the wrong blinking one, because that was the first thing I should have known, or I should have realised back at that age. But I didn't know what I'm going to tell you guys now. I was too naive to realise this. The 2 girlfriends that I had, I was only a young guy, so you can imagine these girlfriends of mine were really, really beautiful, and they were really attractive, etc., and were delightful and friendly, and everything was wonderful about them. To be honest with you, I couldn't fault either. I never felt a moment's jealousy. If I was a little twinge, I'd ask them a question and they would answer me honestly. That was the key. They answered me honestly. So I knew I had nothing to worry about. They were being honest. And they told me stuff, and I'm thinking, oh my God, who did that? And I would be angry with somebody, and she said, oh, just forget about it, I have. And that would be gone. It was not dealt with. It wasn't questioned any longer. It was dismissed out of hand. Not relevant to the way we felt about each other. But the woman that I married, I was constantly wondering and asking, and when I didn't get a satisfactory answer or reply, or when it was a lie, an obvious lie, it never dawned on me that if I was actually lining myself up to spend the rest of my life wondering and not knowing, and all sorts of things happening behind my back. I mean, how big a betrayal is that any woman can ever perpetrate on a man? Would be to convince him that this child was his. Even when it didn't look anything like me, I just had to live that lie, because I would have been harming the child that we had, even if it wasn't my biological child or children. I didn't want to ruin their lives, so I wanted to let them find out for themselves when they got older. It's a big problem. Being honest with somebody is massive. I know when I was talking to my daughters, as I thought they were, the idea for me was to do not show any disgust or anger and just let things go, because the question on my mind was always, when my girlfriends were telling me something I didn't like, I had to calm myself down by thinking, would I rather they lied? And of course the answer to that one is no, you'd rather know than be lied to. You'd rather know the truth than accept a lie. So this is the big thing, honesty and openness between each other. And you'll probably find it a bit surprising how that bonds you together.